What is going on, people of Earth? Massive people, you're all massive. How you doing, you massive people? Welcome to Friday, October 10th. My birthday is Monday. Let us celebrate. Let us have a weekend of merriment. I will be having a day to celebrate my birth. How you guys doing? I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Things are going really well for me. Welcome to Massive Iron Live, the longest running lifting podcast, live lifting podcast in the history of the universe. That's my claim, and I don't care if I'm wrong because it's the internet and we can make up anything we want and call it true, right? So hope you guys had a wonderful week. Hope you survived the endless barrage of Dr. Mike videos and maybe Jeff Nippert videos. I'd be curious to get you guys' takes on that, so don't hesitate to drop a comment. Let me know. Before we get into things, if you are new here, I do this every Freitag. Is that how you say it? Is that how you say it? Every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Don't hesitate to post up your questions. Doesn't matter if they've been asked 1,000 times before. I'm here to help. So do not be shy. If your questions do not go through, try rewording them. Sometimes YouTube will filter things because of naughty words, right? Or try shortening them. Sometimes the longer questions don't go through. We really haven't had a problem like that for a while, but just in case. Now, before I get into things, I do offer a custom workout service. Please come sign up if you need help. I'd love to build a workout. It's one of my favorite things to do. Last night after dinner, while waiting for my wife to get home from her fitness dance classes, I did 5 of them for just trying to get them done before the week. So I get quite a few of those during the week. If you're interested in a custom workout, head over here. This is what we call a website. It has the www and the .com at the end. That's what we call a website. You can go over there and search custom or just go to the services tab and you can find the custom workout. Or you can go to one of my previous videos this week and check out the description box, etc. Now, I also do coaching. Coaching is what I do for a living, and I'll get on with the spiel, and then we can get on with your questions. If you'd like coaching, it is only $89.40 per month after the first month. I coach for a living. It's what I like to do. I'm there with you every single day, 5 days a week. You can send form videos every day. We communicate every day. It's not like your generic check-in once a week coaching service. I don't like to do that. It's just not the way I do things. So please check it out. I would love to help. And if you need one of these sexy, massive iron t-shirts, just check out the apparel tab. I only make a couple bucks. I also have books, physical books. You can see some of them on my shelf over here, the blue one, Muscle and Brawn Archives. I have training logs. I have every kind of thing under the sun. If you want to support me as a influencer, yeah, I'm influencing, you can check out that. I would appreciate it. Let's get into things. I'm on a roll with my training. I'm on a roll with my cutting diet. Week 8 of my cutting diet ends this week. Absolutely nailing it. No straying, no cheat days, no nothing. I'm on a roll. I'm really happy about how that is going. People ask me, how much longer are you going to cut? Well, obviously, I'm not ripped, super lean right now. The way it's looking, and I'm projecting I'm going to do another 8 weeks to just knock off the additional fat. And then a final 8 weeks to dial in the last, whatever. So I'm looking at 16 more weeks, so 24-week cut. Slow, steady, consistent, and I hope to be where I want to be after that. So people are, at the start of the journey, people are like, how many weeks is it going to take? How long are you going to be doing it? What are you going to be doing? So I'm just updating you. Week 8 is coming to a close. I'm going to do another 8 weeks of solid fat loss cutting. And then after that, 8 weeks of final refinement zeroing in, because I haven't really been down to 210 in a long time, certainly not with this degree of muscle mass. So I'm curious to see how things go. My training's going really, really well, super consistent. Really couldn't ask any better of it. For those of you guys following, I have been doing jujitsu. I have taken a break for 2 weeks. I really jacked up my left rotator cuff. Yesterday was the first shoulder workout I was able to do normally. So I appear to be better, right? So I'm going to be going back to jujitsu next Tuesday or Wednesday. I can't go tomorrow because I'm picking up a new dog. So let's dive into things. Let's see what we got. Richard, always faithful Richard. I appreciate all your support. Thanks for tuning in. Big Ernie P, thanks for tuning in, Big Ernie. When training, how much pain is too much on the scale of being a boo-boo baby and training with Larry Wheels, meaning a tear? I don't train for pain, my friend. I try to get the most safely out of a set I can. I'm not doing ridiculous shenanigans that are going to put me in the possibility of getting a tear or anything like that. I think a lot of that comes from, I don't mean to say it, but I'm going to say it, abusive levels of mega juice, right? When you're moving weight and you're just moving an ungodly amount of weight, either powerlifting or bodybuilding, that's just going to be a tightrope. I don't want to put my body in that kind of position. So I think most of us are pretty safe. We need to learn to live to fight another day. Don't do anything crazy. Don't do any shenanigans. And I don't train for pain or punishment. I have a goal. I go in and knock out that set. If anything's wrong with that set, I shut the set down, live to fight another day. After a low volume season for arms, 6 for buys and try. Hey, before we finish, that's basically all I've really ever done for 40 years. So that might be low volume for me. For you, for me, that's normal volume. How do I go about adding more? Well, first you assess the amount of time you have to work out each week. And if you want to, there's nothing wrong with it. I have a lot of clients that have junk days or arm days. I would put an optional junk or arm day on like a Saturday and make sure you can recover on a Sunday. And then this is what I do. I do the optional junk day when I can. And so I would keep the normal volume during the week, maybe on a Saturday or maybe on a Friday. For you, have a bonus junk day where you can add in extra arm work. You can have a structure, but that's probably how I would start things. So bald, just for anybody that's curious, I shaved my head and there is no hair under this head, under this hat. Thank you. I appreciate your support. I appreciate the questions. Let me know if that clears it up. Clears it up. Queers it up. Clears it up. All right, Rico. Good morning. Tell us the word and the goals physically and mentally. Also, anything big planned coming up. Workout tracker is probably going to be done by the end of the year. Ready to roll. A lot of wonderful things. If you haven't heard, we've been working on a workout tracker for quite a long time. A little bit of stuff. Boom. Enter. Okay, so you have like stuff, and then I got like my workout history in here. I can repeat the workout. I can share the workout. It's just looking really good. That's going on. I am going to be starting a group for men over 40 and 50 who need a community to share their struggles, and it's not just going to be lifting. So I have that on my back burner, a secondary community for men over 40, or men that are kind of in the grind of life, so to speak, and need a not just me for guidance and lifting, but also need other men to share struggles, that sort of thing. Men and women. I mean, I'm not going to limit it, but that's on the back burner as well. And I have other things I want to do. I want to put together a 30-day fast start challenge for people that struggle with muscle building to kind of hit, hey, this is the structure for the first 30 days. This is what you're going to do each specific day. That's on the back burner as well. Physically and mentally, my goals are just to get in the best shape of my life. Next year, I have some really, really big goals. I mean, I want to do meetups next year, and I'm already thinking about planning them, planning the dates. I live only an hour away from the Arnold, so I'm trying to debate whether I'm going to go to the Arnold or just open things up the Arnold week where people can pop down, come hang out, lift in my gym, whatever. But I am looking at doing 2 meetups next year, one in the United States. Before the pandemic, we had a retreat and we had a blast. We had a bunch of people come. We did some hiking. We stayed up and had some fun. So I'd like to, just hanging around the fire pit, chewing the fat. I'd like to do that this year. And I also want to get over the UK for one. I want to see Scotland, England, Sweden, Germany. So I'm looking at doing that next year. So that is on the to-do list, and that is going to happen. Big Yvonne, thanks for tuning in. Good to see you. In your 9 tips to get a bigger back video, I just posted that on Instagram and as a video on this channel. You can check out the shorts or reels. You talk about generating focused power. So that's a very good question, and it was hard to fit that in a 90-second reel. But okay, so when you are benching, you are generating power to get the bar off your chest. Okay. When you are coming out of the hole on a squat, you are trying to generate power to get the bar to stand up so you don't get trapped under the bar. When you are deadlifting, you are trying to generate power to get the bar off the ground. These are good examples of power generation. On back work, if you generate power on a row equal and opposite to like a bench press, you get a lot of chuckleberry comments, laughable, naive comments that you're cheating if you generate any power on a row, which is ridiculous. Okay, so what's the difference between cheating on a row or lat pull down and focused power generation? Well, if you're doing a seated cable row and you're just ramming the weight sloppy and just trying to accumulate reps and doing everything you can, like can I show you an example? I know there's a lot of Dr. Mike hate. We're just gonna do it. We're gonna go in with this because I think Dr. Mike's lat pull down is a really good example. Let me just find the video. Okay, I found the video, and we're not just randomly hating on Dr. Mike. I think this is a really good example. So let's bring it up. Dr. Mike is doing lat pull downs. Focused power is not just moving weight through space on back. You don't want to recklessly move your elbows back to the point where there's no focus on the back feel. So on a lat pull down or a seated cable row, you want to focus on driving the elbows and shoulders back, and you can have power generation. You just don't want it to be sloppy and moving the weight where you lose that focus. Does that make sense? So very focused power generation. You can accelerate. You can, like an elbow strike in martial arts, but you don't want to lose that focus and feel on your back. Does that make sense? Now, in this video, like on the lat pull down, if your torso is moving about a foot before you get elbow generation, you are not getting focused. I'm not saying Dr. Mike here isn't feeling his lats or back working during a lat pull down, but I want to show you what you want to kind of avoid So on a lat pull down, this is a really good example. If your torso is moving like a foot before the elbows are generating, it's a little bit unfocused for most of us. You want to focus on driving the elbows back and then having the torso move back a little bit while you are generating that focused power. Let's just take a look here. Watch Dr. Mike's torso. It's upright. Watch how much his shoulders and torso moves back before the elbows move back, okay? Pretty upright. Okay, watch. Torso back, and then the elbows start to generate. Okay, watch this. It's very nuanced. Watch how much his torso moves back before the elbows start to actually drive. Okay? A lot, to the point where we're almost creating like a horizontal row. I'm not saying he's not getting value from this. That's not the implication. He's a seasoned lifter. He's doing what he's doing. But for most of us, when we are generating power on the lat pull down, you want to think about driving the elbows down and then having the torso move as a reaction to that. Does that make sense? Let me see if I have another video of myself doing. I can't really find it quickly, but focused power generation is not just sloppy, right? Like on a barbell row, you're seeing like a power twitch. You can have a little bit of torso movement, but the elbows really have to lead the dance, so to speak. And you don't want it to be sloppy. You don't just want to randomly just throw weight through space without that really good focus on backfield. So I hope that makes some sense. After 12 weeks hard training, my joints feel beat up and I have to reduce the weight. If you're feeling beat up, you want to first thing you want to do is just take a couple days off. Go home, eat a lot of food, get a lot of sleep. Don't arbitrarily say, I'm going to take a week off or I'm going to take a week deload. You could, but I would rather be a little bit more intuitive so we can learn, okay, I feel beat up. Let's learn what it's going to take for me to feel recovered, okay? So take a couple days off, strap on the feed bag, see how you feel, and then if you need another rest day before you go back to the gym, that's fine. If you need two, that's fine. There are no rules here, but if you still feel you want to do some deload work, you don't have to do a full deload week. You could just go in, drop a set per exercise, drop weight 30%. Don't push any sets to failure. Just do a reasonable amount of rep work and wait to the point where you just feel like running again. So I would prefer you would be more intuitive rather than arbitrarily, just taking a week off or a deload week. Every 4 to 5 months, 3, 4, 5 months of training, if you want to take a complete week off and just refresh yourself physically and mentally, there's nothing wrong with it. But if you're like me and you want to get back into the gym, just be a little bit more intuitive and use this approach. Thank you, sir. You have a good weekend. Big Joe from Canada. You guys have Thanksgiving coming up this weekend. Have a wonderful weekend. Unless I'm incorrect. I think it's Thanksgiving. Shelly Turner. How's it going? Shelly from the West Coast, Best Coast. Big Justin Jones. Good to see you. Let me get a drink of my green monstrosity. I don't know if you remember those one-arm push plank exercises I showed you I was doing for rehab. I got a pretty bad shoulder pain when I release my weight from the side I'm doing. I don't remember them specifically, and please don't be angry with me. I get so much information. I don't specifically visually remember it. So if you have a video to share, I wouldn't mind taking a look at them again. Big Johnny P. Good morning. How do I feel my upper chest more on incline dumbbell presses? The first thing I'll say is don't worry about it. We don't want to turn a compound movement into an isolation movement simply to feel our upper chest. I don't feel my upper chest on incline movements. That doesn't mean it's not working. Okay. You're talking about zeroing in on a narrow band of a pretty thick and long muscle group generally. Like it's like saying, how would I feel my upper bicep? You most likely you can't. Some people might be able to, but most likely you can't. But the thing is, that does not mean you're not working or biasing a little bit more stress on your upper chest. Don't try to change anything. There's nothing wrong. Trust the process, trust the stress, trust the variation. Relax, keep things natural, focus on progressive overload hard training. You will be fine. Big Jeffrey Z, good morning. Happy Friday. Thanks for tuning in. Lukenberger, Fitzy Burger. Hey, Steve, when I leg press or do hack squats, I line up my feet symmetrically, but after a rep, one foot rotates externally. I have this happen when I'm doing sissy squats in my sissy squat station. My feet start to rotate. And a lot of that will come from the pressing action. You might feel different stresses or whatever. That's fine. Just keep an eye on it. Try to make micro adjustments if you can. Pace yourself. Do your best to keep your feet planted, but nothing to panic as long as you're making micro adjustments. Big Johnny P. I know you're a proponent of VersaGrips, a lifting support. Yes, I am. But using those, you're not missing out on forearm development. That's something you've created in your head. It's a lie. You're not. What you're going to miss out on is forearm development because you're going to pick up elbow tendonitis. Elbow tendonitis, or that pain on the inside of your elbow, is basically an overuse injury from all the gripping you're going to do on back day, static pulls like deadlifts, RDLs, or shrugs. You're not. Long before I ever touched a VersaGrip, I had massive forearms. Your forearms are going to develop naturally with or without grip support from doing just your normal work. Your forearms get a lot of stress. Your grip naturally gets a lot of stress with or without VersaGrips. It is a lie, but if you're panicked about it, simply do some more forearm work. Simple as that. The one thing you don't want to do is not use VersaGrips because you are going to pick up elbow tendonitis with a 99% chance of certainty if you are serious. Richard, a question about your book, Massive Omnibus number 4. What do you mean by static hold in deadlift and RDL? I mean, after a set is done, you just simply hold the weight as long as you can. So if you're doing a deadlift or you're doing a Romanian deadlift or even doing, whatever type of back work where you're kind of standing up at the end like a stiff leg deadlift or whatever, a static hold, and we're talking about working your traps here. Doing a static hold at the end of your deadlift rep or end of your deadlift set or end of an RDL rep or set, you're just holding the bar as long as you can. Your traps are getting stimulus from the deadlift or the RDL just by holding the bar. So by doing a static hold at the end, you're just adding a little bit of extra mechanical stress or tension to the trap. So I hope that makes sense. Barack, happy birthday. Thank you. I appreciate it. Elise, any tips or workouts you recommend for significant glute development? So the knee-jerk reaction here is just do your squatties, right? Well, I always assumed because of the bodybuilding propaganda that was heavy, that squats made your glutes blocky and your hips blocky and it made you look blocky. really, it was just a lot of steroids and HGH making people look blocky. I don't see a lot of natural bodybuilders looking blocky. Hashtag none of them, really. So what I'm really pointing out is uh, you're not going to get blocky with squats, and there's a chance you're not really going to work your glutes as much as you thought with squats. I'm not saying squats won't or aren't working your glutes, but to varying degrees. Some of you, like me, might be very quad focused and you're not getting as much glute activation or stimulation as you suspected. Maybe some of you will. It depends. But you could add in things like a front foot elevated reverse lunge. You could add in things like a Romanian or stiff leg. You know, if you just don't want to make it complicated, I would add a front foot elevated reverse lunge or a regular lunge. And then, if you have like a glute kickback at the gym and you have time, I would maybe consider doing that. There's no harm doing that. The Gardening Kind, good to see you. Steve, just wanted to say a huge thank you for your coaching. Great to have you in my corner. Super happy with the program and progression. That's wonderful. And I appreciate that. I see your posts on Instagram fly by occasionally. I don't watch a lot on Instagram, but I do see you fly by on the gram. All right. We are about 30 minutes in. I appreciate you guys joining in. Let's keep things rolling. Big Ernie P, happy birthday. Thanks, Big Ernie. Heavy duty, Josh. That's what I want to see. How much does anxiety kill gains? Virtually nada. Unless you allow it to wreck your habits. So, stress and anxiety is very difficult to deal with. Obviously, it's the nature of stress and anxiety. But if you are training hard, and eating properly, the body is going to respond. So just continue with your hard training. Just continue with your nutrition plan. You're going to be absolutely fine. Big JR. Every day is a new day to crush your nutrition. No excuses. You have to be in this life number one at pushing back against your excuses, because if you aren't, they are going to consume you, and eventually you're going to start to believe your excuses and bad things will happen. 3 days grace. Happy birthday. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Andy, 1,000. Big Steve, great to finally catch you live. Great to have you here, my friend. Usually training around this time on Friday. And thank you, sir. I appreciate it. OMADS. 1011 Abel. Is a slow cut better? No. Better is sustainable. There's nothing wrong with an aggressive cut. If your goal is body recomposition, you want to get in and get the cut over with and get it done. There's no downside. But you need it to be sustainable. You're not going to lose muscle mass. That's old school nonsense. Even if you would lose a couple of grams during an aggressive cut, and I say this every week, you're going to get it right back because muscle memory is real. The likelihood of you losing muscle mass on an aggressive cut is zero. Okay? In the long run, it's zero. Nothing to fear. You're going to feel flat. You're going to feel depleted. You might feel like a steaming pile of monkey doo-doo, but there's no downside as long as it's sustainable. There's no downside. It's not like, hey, I'm going to do an aggressive cut. Oh my God, I lost 3 pounds of muscle mass and I'll never get it back again. Number one, you're not going to lose 3 pounds of mass. If anything, it would be trivial. And even if you did, muscle memory is real and you'd get it back immediately. This 1 or 2 gram, after the cut is over with. Nothing to worry about. You want to stay in a bulk as long as you can. That's your prime directive. So get in, get the weight off, get it over with as quick as possible. You want it to be sustainable. Big Samuel Jones. Get ready, Steve, because you'll be working with me soon on an off-season parlay. That sounds good, man. I look forward to that. Really do. I love program design. I love helping people. I love custom workouts. So, any tips on dealing? I read that as deadlifting, dealing with wrist pain while BTN pressing. I would love to see a video. Number one, I would get some wrist wraps just to see if that helps. If the wrist wraps aren't working, we probably need to see if we're going too low. There's a chance you could be going too low where your wrists have to kind of hyperextend or extend backwards to the point where it's placing a lot of stress on your wrists. So wear wrist wraps or wrist straps. Think about only bringing the weight down to the mid-ear, lower ear. See if that helps, and we'll kind of go from there. Rack pull. In the opinion of the almighty, I wouldn't say I'm almighty. I'm just an old dude that loves lifting. How much does exercise variety matter? Some guys will say a row is a row. You want to have a reasonable degree of exercise variety. Every exercise hits the body with a different stimulus. You can do leg press for 2 years straight, and it can feel very taxing. And then you can introduce squats, and it's going to hit you in a completely different way. You can introduce hacks, and it's going to hit you in a completely different way. So we don't want to panic and overstuff a season of our lifting with variety because of some paranoia, but you want a reasonable degree of variety. It's not like a seated row is the same as a Pendley row, is the same as a machine row, is the same as a seal row, is the same as a chest supported row. They're not equal. You want to have a reasonable degree of variety. There's no downside to that. And overworking the same lift and the same movement pattern is just going to open the door to overuse injuries. If all you do is bench press, if all you do is dumbbell bench, you're overworking a movement pattern. It's good not just to have a degree of variety for the sake of hitting the body with different forms of stimulus each week, but it's also going to, this slightly nuanced change is probably going to be better for your joints and your connective tissue and your ligaments and overall just impact on strengthening not just the muscle but the connective tissue, etc. So you don't need 100 different angles. And in any season in life, you want to have a reasonable variety of exercises, and you don't have to go crazy about it. Big Bird of Blueness. Do you have any tips for improving mobility for back squats? You mean getting under the bar or getting deep? If you're unable to get deep, usually 9 times out of 10, that is because your setup is wrong. The angles of your feet are matching the angles of your knees, or you're trying to go super wide stance and you're having a problem getting your knees out enough and hitting depth. Number one tip would be send me a form video. Post one up now in the comments. I'll be happy to take a look. If not, head over to Team Massive. You can find a link to my Discord in any of my recent videos. Come join. What are you waiting for? But number one tip is let me look. If you're not hitting depth, let me look, or let some seasoned coach look. If you're having problems getting under the bar, that can just happen as you advance with age, and all the mobility work under the sun probably won't help. I went through a year when I was about 45 where I could not get under a straight bar without a lot of shoulder pain. Some of that had to do with my mass, my back mass, my trap mass, just really hard getting under the bar. And I tried all the things. The only thing that helped was a buffalo bar or a safety squat bar or a bowed bar. So if you're having trouble getting under the bar, that's where I would go. Big Simonson, tell us about the new dog. We'll post up a picture real quick and take a 1 minute excursion. I won't bore you with the endless details of my personal life, but I will show you the pictures of number 5. So, as many of you know, I had 5 dogs, and the last 2 we took in had health issues to a reason, but that's the breeder's hand, not my tattoos. I don't have the dog yet. So we had 5 dogs, and the 4th one we took in, Bluey Skidooey, he had a hernia, so we got a discount on him because he was special needs, special care. Bluey is doing great. He's a wonderful member of our family. Number 5 we took in was Little Bird, and Little Bird passed away, I don't know, 6 weeks ago, whatever it was. Very hard. When I picked up, we got Little Bird for free because he was it was a problem puppy. He wasn't going to make it. When I picked him up, he had some type of pneumonia. You could see his ribs. He was so skinny and he was in such bad. I didn't think he was going to make it the week when I picked him up. Little Bird. Little Bird made it a year. And at the end, we found out he was having heart issues. He had it was hard because he was so young. He was only a year old, and he was just kind of really getting into a good stride. But I think he was born with some health issues, and he couldn't overcome them. And it was just sad because he went downhill so quickly in a week. So we are allowed 5 dogs, and we're going to get number 5. This guy is Mookie, and Mookie is our first longer-haired dachshund. Mookie has I'm going to pick him up tomorrow. Mookie has a very interesting body. He has kind of a white, gray, blotchy black, and you can see his face is brown and chocolate brown with big blue eyes. So that is Mookie. And I'm really looking forward to getting Mook, number 5. He is a boy, and the male dachshunds are just such amazing dogs. So incredibly smart, so full of personality, and just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful pets, parts of the family. Do you have any tips on improving mobility? Okay, we just covered that one. Sorry. When I'm putting the bar on my back feels uncomfortably tight. My wrists tend to overextend. You need to get a Bode bar or Buffalo bar, or you need to do safety squats. That would be my number 1 recommendation. Big Steve. During heavy compounds like back squats, sometimes I get lightheaded from holding my breath while bracing during a rep. You can have your blood pressure escalate during a rep. So there's nothing really you can do. Just make sure you're not holding your breath through multiple reps. I wish I had advice for you, but this sometimes happens. It's, putting a weight on your back is going to send your heart rate up slowly over time with every additional second. And you're going to see some blood pressure issues. The only thing I can say is be safe. You might have to adjust your rep range to accommodate this so things don't get too hairy. Big Lee. Big Steve, my baby mom wants to be a tattooist, and because of children, have to be the test dummy for squats with new ink. Feel horrible. Yeah, I got you there. Just make sure if she puts any scandalous, wonky tattoos, that's in an area that you don't have to hide it in case in a few years you things don't go well with her. You just don't know. Just don't have her put your name on your body. You're going to hear that from me. Big Joe B. I'd like to come down during the Arnold to check it out and hit your gym. That would be wonderful. I'm really, really looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm going to be making it back to the UK. What I'm looking at doing is spending about 10 days, landing in London, spending a day or two, probably an hour outside of London. I don't want to stay in London. Nothing against London, but I want to make sure I'm a little bit more centralized because I have tons of clients in the UK, in England. So I'm going to spend a couple days there. Maybe we can do a hike, a lift, some meal, and lift a few pints if that's your thing. Then I'm going to go over to Scotland. I have some wonderful clients in Scotland. I absolutely love Scotland. My last name is Shaw. Some of my heritage comes from Scotland. I want to spend a couple days in Scotland. Then I will skedaddle to Germany and Sweden. And from there, I don't know. I actually have a couple clients in Sweden by the name of Daniel that live like 20 minutes away from each other. So I've had a lot of good lifting friends over the years in Sweden. I want to hit Sweden for a couple days. I have some good clients in Germany. I want to hit Germany for a couple days. I don't know. From there, maybe Italy, Greece. I've always had clients in Italy and Greece. And then maybe from there back home. So I will do a seminar. I will absolutely do a seminar. But what I would like to do for the seminar is find a gym that will accommodate us for like 4 hours. Go over squat form. Go over your squat form. Go over your deadlifting. Go over your programming structure. Go over your goals. Just kind of do some hands-on form work and demonstrate some lifts and, do some Q&As, that type of, seminar, not just I'm going to speak on a topic. If anyone on YouTube Fitness Safe says, actually, after Solomon released his first video, I sent him a message and sent him a follow, and he started following me, and he made we had a slight interaction via DM. He was aware of some of my criticisms of Dr. Mike, some of Dr. Mike's information. Now, when I say that, I want you to understand, if I'm critical about Dr. Mike's opinion on seated calf raises or anything else, I'm critical of an opinion. I'm critical because we have to push back to allow some sorting out of the information. I'm not name calling Dr. Mike. I'm not doing a personal attack on Dr. Mike. I'm just simply combing through information. So Solomon was aware of some of my criticisms of Dr. Mike's information, and we did have a discussion. So is what it is. Big Lee. Thoughts on camber bar squats? They look cool. I've done them. Yeah, no issues with them. I have no issue with any squat variation as long as it feels good for you. Let me get a drink. We are 45 minutes in. On a 6-day push-pull leg split, should I do the exact same movements if you do them multiple? No, I wouldn't recommend that. You want to squat at least once a week. So that's kind of your prime directive on a push-pull legs. So if you're working out 6 days a week, you should be fine. I would definitely work in exercise variety, so we're kind of minimizing the overuse injury type of thing. I'll have clients do like squats on one leg day and maybe lead off with leg presses on the other. Or if they want to squat twice, they could do like a pause squat, but we definitely work in variation. I don't want you deadlifting twice a week. Sometimes it feels like the length of time that I'm holding my breath isn't the factor. Yeah, I mean, when you have a bar on your back from squats or you're holding a bar off the ground, just that fact, even if you're not doing any repetitions, is going to send your heart rate up. Just the nature of the beast. And you can pick up blood pressure, stress, just from lifting. So it's not unusual at all. Big Jason. If you are hitting shoulders, then chest on consecutive days, I wouldn't do them on back-to-back days. I don't recommend that at all. All the workout structures I put together do not do that, and I am not a fan of that. This is like, like I'm trying to think of a good analogy. If I'm going to stick my hand in a meat grinder, or if I'm going to stick my hand in the in a fire, which one should I do first? You're putting your hand in a meat grinder and you're putting your hand in a fire. I wouldn't recommend doing either first. I'd recommend not doing it first. So just being honest with you, Jason, I don't like that setup. My best advice would be not to do it, to find a different structure. I would never recommend doing them on consecutive days. I take no days off. Well, as long as you're recovering fine. Big Joe B. I do an arm-focused Saturday, hitting 2 triceps and 2 biceps plus forearms, and I'm fully recovered on Monday. That's one thing I like to do on a Saturday, or you could do it on a Friday workout. Add in an extra junk arm day. And you can even do it at home. You got a couple dumbbells sitting around. You can do some hammy-whammy curls, hammer curls. You can do some seated curls. You can do some rolling tricep extensions, some kicky backies. You could easily get an easy bar and do easy bar work or dumbbell work at home if you have that kind of setup, if you don't want to go to a commercial gym. Thanksgiving weekend in Canada. Thank goodness. Much love to my Canadian friends. Canada, I call it Canada as a joke, not ill will. I love the country. We have always been brother and sister countries, or brother countries. And I think I speak for most Americans with that. We love you guys. We have nothing but respect for you guys. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Rack pull. Following up on the exercise variety question, is it generally a good idea to eliminate repetitive angles? Don't overthink this. You want to use a selection of exercises, number 1, that you enjoy, number 2, that you're passionate about, number 3, that have a good progression opportunity, and you want an overall good mix or a good profile. So if you have a flat press, an incline press, a fat fly, maybe with a pH being fat, or incline fly, I wouldn't have 2 fly movements. Having multiple presses perfectly fine. I would do a flat press and a dumbbell incline, or an incline and a flat dumbbell, and then maybe a fly alternating between a flat and incline. I wouldn't overkill the flies simply because they don't have a good progression opportunity. So you would have 2 flies in the mix. It's kind of redundant because they don't have a lot of good progression opportunity. Any contact with Robert, the supplement engineer? Not at all. I haven't heard from him in a very, very long time. Big Nolan. Happy Friday. Massive lifting story of the week. No one asked yet. What are we gonna talk about today? What are we gonna talk about? What haven't I talked about 1,000 times over? That's always the question. Let me have some caffeine molecules and think about it. The old forum I had, the old community I had at Muscle and Brawn, and I don't own that site any longer. I sold it, so please don't go over there. It's a dive site with junk supplements. Way back before I ever did I was doing YouTube, but not big, and I wasn't a big YouTuber. These people were more than just forum members or community members. They were friends. For many of them, I went to their bodybuilding shows. I went to their powerlifting meets. Many of them were inspired to bodybuild or get into powerlifting because of the forum. I think, community is important to me because many of these people I ended up meeting in person, and they become, I wouldn't say friends because it's not like we hang out or anything, but they become a lifelong part, of who you are. They become good internet friends, and so many of them, you know, uh, are like that. You guys are like that. You are like that, Nolan. Coaching to me and community to me isn't just about helping people, it's about building relationships. And Nolan is a good example. Nolan is a client of mine. I've been with him for a long time. I've never met Nolan, but I hope to meet Nolan. And people on my Discord community, like, hey, join my Discord. And people come and go, and a lot of people don't interact. And a lot of people in this day and age don't like community, and that's fine. But for me, it's far more than just answering questions or having a Q&A. It's about getting to know you guys, getting up every day and getting to work with you and seeing your progress and guiding you and being a part of your life. So I am big on community. I will always be big on community. I wish more people would get involved with community. It used to be a bigger part of the internet. Before we would just doom scroll and like someone's stuff and not interact. If you feel detached, please come join Team Massive. There are people on Team Massive community that come and go, but when they go, I miss them because I might still interact with them in coaching or whatever, but I miss the community aspect. I'm never going to pressure anybody, but community is such a big part of things for me that coaching, yeah, I love to help Nolan reach his goals, but I hope to one day train with Nolan. I hope to meet Nolan. I hope to see him come back in 5 years and be a super success. That's what it really is for me. I got into YouTube and community and running forums and websites a long, long time ago. And I never got into any of this crap to be an influencer. I just was a guy talking lifting, and I was sharing my opinions, and things kind of flowed from that. Occasionally, I'll get somebody that'll come by my YouTube and say, "Oh, you're just doing this for clicks, or you're just doing this for views, or you're an I don't have an influencer mindset." It's all about people for me. And that's my lifting story. I've met so many people from these communities in person, and moving forward, that's what I want to do again. Honestly, my coaching business has exploded. For those of you guys know, I was the 2023 Online Coach of the Year. I beat out 400,000 other people. I don't know how I did it. I'm not patting myself on the back. It's just what happened. I won the award. The next year, I was in the top 5. I don't know what it'll be for 2025. Maybe they'll get sick of me being in the top 5 and they'll tell me to kick rocks, which is fair. But my coaching business has exploded to the point where I haven't had time to meet with people. And that's a big part of what I want to get back in the new year. Big Justin Jones. Basically, in the new year, it's going to be, hey, you're in the area, come lift on a Saturday. I just put a short video. Okay, thanks. I'll take a look, Big JJ. Big MG, what is going on? Good to see you. How to get a monster press. Watch all of my videos on bench press and overhead press. I have so much information. That's a good starting point. Make sure you're nailing your nutrition. That's a big part of it. Watch all my videos, nail your nutrition, and allow me to help. Sign up for a custom workout. It's only $39. You can head over to my website, superlivingtoday.com. Just search custom. I'd love to help. Yeah, I keep those custom workouts really, really inexpensive because I like doing them. I like helping as many people as I can. What was the blue gummy nerd you showed when you mentioned a gram? Blue gummy nerd. It's called the Dice Canada. I got a bunch of dice here because one of the things I do for fun is game design. I put out a tabletop game And I got a bunch of dice, not a blue gummy nerd. I have 30-sided dice. I have 12-sided dice. I have 20-sided dice, just things at my desk. Random crap at my desk. I have I have this guy right here. My wife bought me this little group of baseball hickey dudes. And this is actually one of the first iterations from my tabletop game, one of the first generation, the test game. I have a lot of crap here at my desk. That's what that is. Big Richie from the UK. Any tips on getting heavy dumbbells up to start the bench? Place them on your knees and just roll back. Let me see if I can get a video for you guys to look at of how I get super whammy jammy dumbbells into place. Just give me 1 second. I should be able to find this within like 10 seconds. I'm going to show you guys how I get the big whammy jammies. Here we go. Let me just, there's no music here so we can listen. I'm going to show you how I get, this is 150s or 160s. I don't remember, so don't hate. The Power Station Gym, for some reason, the Power Station Gym had dumbbells up to 200s. Actually, one of them was called the Ronnie Coleman dumbbell. He signed it. I actually trained with Ronnie Coleman at this gym. So Ronnie Coleman came in with Tiger Fitness, and we did a training session. I trained shoulders with Ronnie Coleman. That's a true story. Okay. So I set them on my knees, on my upper thigh, and I lean back like that and just let them fall and roll into place. That's it. Simple. I don't know why the video keeps stopping or rebooting. So I apologize. I'm not sure what is going on with the video. So let's look at it again. Boom. See how I do that? And we'll just watch. Let's see if we actually take a set to failure like Dr. Mike, just tongue in cheek. There's now a sound on this one. That's weird. Let's see how difficult the last reps are. Pretty manageable. Pretty manageable. Oh, not bad. I think these are the 150s. I don't know. It could be 160s. Oh, that was almost failure. I think that counted. I think that was good enough. Elise, for lower days, if I do squats, RDLs, reverse lunges, deadlifts, whoa, that's a big whammy jammy, back extensions, leg curls, extensions. It's a really great starting point. I mean, if you're doing 2 lower days a week or you're alternating between some of those every other week, yeah, that sounds really good. That's where I would start. You could add in, like a glute kickback or something more mild or less strenuous. That's a lot of stress on the lower back. That's absolutely fine. The reverse lunges, I would really, really dial in as far as technique. Big Ernie P just responding to my new dog, Mooks. I will have Mookie for you next Friday, fanatics. I will have Mookie here live next week, so tune in. Any tips on getting – we did that one. Sorry. You bet, Big Steve. When you come to the UK, yeah, man, I just touched on that. I'll be doing a seminar. I'd like to just hang out for 4 hours, work on, squat form, deadlift form, just answer questions, do some stuff in the gym, keep it a little bit more fluid. I've done live seminars. I did a 2-day seminar here years ago. And I will say, me speaking for 16 straight hours, I think people got a little tired of it. So I think it was a little bit overbaked. Big Lee. If you're coming in England, come Nottingham. We have the world's oldest bar. How far away is Nottingham from London, because I do need, yeah, I want to have something about an hour outside of London so people don't have to travel. But I want to have it. I have people, all over Wales and northern England. The best part of England are the north, Yorkshire, Cumbria. I actually was considering way back when looking at Durham, possibly moving to Durham or the Durham area. This was about 5 years ago or 4 years ago before I bought a house here. So I was considering, some like a fairy tale, having a smaller second home in Durham or even in Scotland. Let's see. What do we got here? By no days off, I meant other than the 2 rest days. Yeah, that's fine. Let's see. I think I have about 8 questions left. So if you guys have any more questions, get them in now. We're about an hour in. Just want to make sure you guys don't miss out. Have you dealt with clients that have uneven hip or instability? Yeah, I've dealt with everything. I coach Special Olympics. I've dealt with people that have had multiple hip surgeries and limited mobility in their hips and legs. So if you are squatting, the thing you want to think about is driving your butthole straight to the ground as you descend. I'm not trying to be crude, but as you squat, you got the bar on your back. As you descend, think about driving your butt straight down to the ground, your butthole, think about driving that straight down to the ground. That'll help you kind of focus on staying centered. Fat flies will be my new chest movement. You bet. That sounds perfect with a PH. Big Sam. Where do you think chest supported rows fall compared to Pendley rows? I have top tier brutality exercises, Pendley rows, dumbbell rows, T-bar rows. Those are my top tiers. I like to see folks have at least one of those in their program. Not making a rule. I'm just giving you my best massive iron advice. A chest supported row would be the next tier down. So that's where I would put it. Big MG. On your custom workout plan, is it for one specific lift or multiple groups? You guys want to see one? I did 4 last night, and I am going to remove the person's name because I don't want to put their name public. I did 4 of them. I get about 8 of them a week, and I'm going to go into I save them all. I never delete them. So what I do is I have a structure. Let's see. Let me find a recent one from last night. And I'll show you exactly. I'm going to make a copy. And I'm going to rename the copy so we can look at it. Let's see. Hold on one second. I want you guys to see what a custom workout looks like. Now, let me pull it up. I'm going to download this as a PDF so I can upload it directly into the video. There we go. All right. So we're going to slides and PDFs, your pewter. We're going to upload it from the pewter. And I'm going to remove this comment. We're going to be talking about custom workouts. So I renamed it. When somebody signs up for a custom workout, I try to immediately or as soon as possible send them a list of questions. And there's, 15 questions, 12 questions, I don't know. So we're going to look at your height, weight, and age. I want to know that just as a baseline for my records. And I put down their primary goals. Their goals can be complicated. I want a bigger deadlift. I want bigger arms. I want to look good. Whatever the goals are, whatever they list, that's what I put here. Notes, this individual wants to lift 3 to 4 times a week. They want to focus on recoverability. They have a home gym. I list the equipment, and they don't want lunches. So any specifics based on their weight and their goals, I will also give them a weight strategy. So basically, I give everybody a 2-month strategy or 2-year strategy based on whatever information they give me. It's the best I can do. So for this individual, they are 5'6", 175 to 180, pretty reasonable body weight. I said your body weight's in a very good place. Again, I'm putting the best information out I can based on what they provide me, right? So I said gain 15 pounds over 6 to 7 months, and then lose 10 pounds and regain 15, lose 10 pounds. So they're going to be up 10 pounds after 18, 17 months or whatever. So I put together a basic strategy. Every one of these is highly individual. Every program I put together, my clients are familiar with this structure because I build them all in Google Docs. Each workout day is a column. Each thing, I have different tools in the Massive Iron world. And you can see this one individual, I put together some week 1 and 2 variations based off preferences like seated pin press and BTN press. So this is the workout. You can do it 3 to 4 days a week, resting as needed. This is a flexible schedule. So everyone gets a complete workout, all the notes on how to perform the stuff. My clients are familiar with this. Nothing is cookie cutter. When I get a new one, I will take this template and I will put it into a new document, and then I will create a plan or structure for the individual. Now, obviously, some people, don't need complication. So some of these are very, very easy to put together. Some of these are very complicated to put together. I have advanced powerlifting programs. I have some people that want running programs. I have some people that want calisthenics. Everything is completely from the ground up structured, moving different Massive Iron tools and principles into a workout. I want to put one-arm dumbbell rows in my back routine. 150 is fine, man. I would do 2 sets. Keep an eye on your biceps. Right now, pretty much the limit I do is 150. Just because loading it up becomes a royal pain, putting on multiple 45-pound plates on the Olympic bar. You could do 1 set. You could do 2 sets. You could alternate every other week between one-arm dumbbell rows and meadows. I would probably recommend keeping the one-arm row in the mix at least every other week just to maintain that strength. The real Dr. Mike controversy is his hamstring curl video. I don't know anything about that. I think maybe I missed that one. Is it true that overhead press stimulates the upper chest? The compound movements are going to be compound movements. When you're doing an overhead press, whether it's a standing or seated, and I have a video on this, you have to keep your wrists over your elbows, okay? To do so, on an overhead, you're going to have to lean back slightly. On a seated, you're going to have to lean back slightly because if you don't, your wrists are going to be forward of your elbows, and you're going to have this weird shoulder stress. So you're going to have to lean back slightly doing an overhead press, unless you're doing a BTN press. And in that case, you're just moving the weight behind your neck, blah, blah, blah. So you're going to get a minor degree of upper chest stimulation. Absolutely. You don't have to overthink it, overbake it, or whatever, but definitely. It's a compound movement. It's going to happen. The reason I ask is because my wife wants to start gaining mass. Hey, I would love to help. Anything, I will give her a bunch of questions. And this is what I do. She lists what she can do, what she can't do. Some people don't want to work legs a lot. Some people don't want to work this side or the other lift. Perfectly fine. Everything is built from the ground up. And when I give someone a custom workout, I include my phone number. They can text me. They can email me with follow-up questions. Big Tom, I'm 69. I do all the dangerous exercises. You scandalous individual, Tom. Back and front squat, deadlifts, RDLs, overhead press, behind the neck press, Arnold's, Pendleys, dumbbells, uprights. Are you playing with fire? If you were playing with fire, you wouldn't be 69, Tom. Play with fire, my friend. Play with fire. Just always be smart and adjust based on what, I mean, you're always going to have to adjust over time. What's the downside? I'll be 58 on Monday. I have to adjust my programming, but that's the key. Not just adjust based on what is going on, and don't beat the living crap out of your body. You'll be fine. Big Cycle Kyle Cook. Off topic. Last night I was riding my hog down A1A. He's talking about a motorcycle. My massive iron hat flew off. What? This is scandalous. On the way back this morning, I found it soaking. That's great, man. I'm glad to hear you got it back. That's a big bonus day. Ventrix. My left leg is a lot weaker than my right leg. I noticed this on squats and leg presses. You're always going to have one side that's stronger than the other, and there can be varying degrees. I would consider you want to have one unilateral leg exercise in the mix, like lunges. You could even try single leg press. But I would continue to do squats, very controlled, pause, think about driving your butt down, leg presses or hack squats. Do the normal lifts. Just make sure you're doing them in the safe lane, progressing as it comes to you. And we don't want to beat up your body, but I wouldn't change much at all. You got to work. I've had a client that had a very unusual bench press issue where one side was a lot stronger than the other. We've been working together maybe 3 years, and it is normalized to the point where it's trivial difference. That's all you can really do. Just be safe and smart. I'm glad that you actually explain in those how each set should look with weight, reps, progression. Yeah, man. I mean, progression is everything. For a very, very long time, if you look early on in the archives of my videos, I talk about this. There are to-do list workouts and there are workouts. A to-do list workout just says squats 3 by 6 to 8. That's not a workout plan. If a coach or anybody or an influencer or whatever you call them gives you a list of things, squats, here's your workout you bought. Squats 3 by 6 to 8. I'm going to be brutally honest. That is a piece of crap. That's not a workout. I would be insulted and I would send that back on a hot platter, on a hot flaming platter, and say, stick this back into your hard drive. That's a to-do list. That's like buying a car without an engine. If anybody on social media, YouTube, Instagram, a coach, if someone calls themselves a coach and this is what they give you, you put it back on a hot flaming platter and tell them to stick it right up their hard drive. That's not a workout. That's a to-do list. That's lacking the progression mechanism to make the workout potent. So this was how it was back in the day. You would get a bodybuilding or muscle building magazine. They would have a to-do list. Do squats 3 by 6 to 8. Do leg press 3 by 12 to 15. And it didn't have a progression indicator, a progression mechanism, a progression philosophy. That's not a workout. Anybody can say do squats 3 by 5. Even a monkey could push a button and come up with that random crap. I'm sorry, but this is true. That's not coaching. Telling somebody to do a list of exercises for a list of anybody could make that crap up. So that is a to-do list. That is not a workout. A workout requires information on how to progress and nuance. Does that make sense? So, hot flaming platters. Ownage Titan. Have you ever made an upper lower full body hybrid? I don't generally do upper lowers because you end up having 2 leg days a week. And then you have 2 uppers a week, which is back, chest, shoulders, arms, and it gets overly stuffed. So I tend to do upper posterior, which is a little bit more balanced. I'm not saying you can't do an upper lower. I just think it's an outdated concept that most people don't enjoy. Really, really outdated. Now, with that said, you could do an upper, a lower, and some kind of full body. If the weekly structure was put together correctly, you could have a lower day or a leg day. Absolutely. Steve, I found an old video of yours on a 5-day split: chest, back, shoulders, arms, and a single leg day. Oh yeah, I'd probably change it a lot. I mean, just like the previous question, any split can work if it's structured properly over the course of a week. You could absolutely do that. I would love for you to send me the link so I can take a look. I've made so many programs and splits over the years. I would love to slice and dice that again. Send me a message on Team Massive or email benthebarman@gmail.com or whatever. Somebody remind me via DM, and I'll make a video on it this week. I'll put together, a 5-day-a-week program for those that only want to do legs once a week. Richard, who just actually bought a custom workout a few weeks back. They are a combination of a suit made by a tailor and going to an amusement park. Thanks, Richard. That's a wonderful way of putting them. I'm always going to have interesting progression approaches and tools. I always like to just kind of, when I sit down, I'm not like, I'm going to put the same thing in. I'm like, this guy's going to get bulldozer, this guy's going to get savage, or this guy's going to get DDP, or this guy's going to get threes. I just kind of base it off intuition. Any brutal protocols to get the traps? So, man, I got so much information. Check out on my website. Search Omnibus, Omnibus, Omnibus. Book number 4 is on traps. You don't have to buy the whole series. You can just buy the traps book. Tons of information in that book on trapezoids. If you're really serious about traps, you want to do a deadlift or rack pull variation, you want to do power shrugs, bulldozer shrugs, 5x5s, you can do farmer's carries. I'm going to see if I can find that file. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. Stay right here. Let's search Omnibus. I think it's book 4. Book 4. Let's see if I think it is. Hold on. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody mentioned that earlier. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. We'll move on. You can go to my website, search Omnibus, and it's loading right now. Just hold on a second, and we will see if it's book number 4. I got 5 questions left, so just a heads up. We have 5 left. If I don't have any questions on after that, I will be jumping ship. It's taking forever for it to load. So once it loads, I'll come back to it. I'll come back to this. It's rampant in the industry and completely disrespectful to the client. If you get a workout from somebody that just has do squats for 3x6, I would send that thing back. Anybody can make up that crap. You need a progression approach. All right, so this is Massive Omnibus. I'm going to remove this. This is book number 4, upper body. Let's see. Is this the right one? Forward intro, table of contents. Yeah, it's got traps training. So it's got some information on traps training. Section 9, page, you can see these books are huge. This is just one out of many. These books are massive. If you want a metric crap ton of information, the Massive Omnibus is basically my life's work. We got Are You Worried? Wrong About Building Massive Traps, Big Traps Using the 5x5, Take Your Traps to Hell, 50 Rep Finisher, Power Shrug Hell. It's got 40 pages alone in this book just on traps. You can also go over to the main page of my YouTube, and I want to show you some of the content on traps in here. You can go to the main page on my YouTube channel and just search traps or shrugs, and you're going to get a master class in information. So we're almost there. Whoop-de-doop-de-doo, chin-ups. Section 2, traps training, the case for training traps on shoulder day. Are we wrong about building massive traps? Information. This is just one book, folks. A solid traps plan of attack includes heavy shrugs, deadlifts, heavy load, bearing, carries, RDLs, holds, rows, Kelso shrugs, high angle chest supported rows. Don't look at all this. Final thoughts. Traps, tips, all kinds of tips, more tips, even more tips, more information, more tips, workouts on traps. It's all there. The Omnibus is a massive collection. Literally, I think it's 1,000,000 words. I'm not even kidding you. It is a huge volume of information. You can buy all the books for $99. And 99 seems like a lot, but this is my life's work. This is a ton of information, and that's just 40 pages I showed you. Do you like? No, I hate them. I think they're one of the worst things you can do. I hate them. I hate antagonistic supersets. I'm not saying anything can't work, but it's getting in the CrossFit conditioning stuff. I don't want to have my back. I don't want to be cardiovascularly, I don't want to be fatigued in a cardiovascular sense after doing a big set of bench and then do pendlay rows. I don't. Doing the same body part in a superset makes sense because you're doing post-fatigue work on that body part. But if you're doing, like curls after skull destroyers, you're wiped and you're just doing curls from a deficit that isn't relative to that muscle group. You might have a cardiovascular deficit. You might have a general fatigue deficit. I don't like them. I think they're one of the silliest things you can do in the gym. And I stand by that. There's few hills I die on in muscle building. I'm a guy that'll say, do anything that makes sense for you. I just think antagonistic supersets are bottom of the barrel, not the way to go. I'd like to come down during the Arnold. That would be and hang out. It's generally starts about Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think anybody's welcome to come down, if you want to come down early. I mean, I'm going to be working during the day. So, I might take off a Friday during the Arnold if enough people come down. Or maybe if enough people came down, just tell my clients I'm going to take the rare 4-day weekend, which I don't like to do, but we'll get it sorted. Big JJ. I'm doing squats. I just decided to do the threes protocol. Yeah, you can absolutely do that. The only thing I want you to do is squat every week. Thank you, MG. I will hit you up as soon as I take the dogs out and go to the bathroom after live. Uber MX. Squats and lunges tend to cause knee pain. I'm curious if this is form driven. I'm not saying it inherently is, but a lot of it can be. You want to do, regardless, you want to do whatever exercises don't bother your knees. So leg extensions, sissy squats, you want to do what you can. If you want some help to maybe have me take a look at your squats and lunges, let me know. All right, guys, last call. last call before I'm going to give you guys a chance to post any last minute questions. Before you go, head over here, click the search button, hit custom. Head over here and search Omnibus. There's a tab on my website that says Omnibus. Omnibus, go purchase that. Come, click the coaching tab. Allow me to help you with coaching. I would love to help. Have a great weekend and happy birthday. Thank you guys for watching. Come back next Friday. Keep up the great work, and I'm out of here.
It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.
See you guys.